we just had a CEO pitch us on our live call, and he had come from like a Web 2 background and had a couple of successful Web 2 exits, and they're building a company that's kind of in Web 3 infrastructure that's keeping an eye of being acquired by maybe a centralized exchange or maybe even a Google or a big player. And he just said, we've decided not to do a token. And we've been told by some of the big people like the Googles of the world that, that just don't want to deal with that token. And what do they do? How do they deal with the legacy? How do they, get rid of it? That kind of thing. And so they were really holding on it. And I just never heard that before,
Yeah, you hear this sometimes and from smarter crypto entrepreneurs that, launching a token could hurt the prospectus of potential acquisition for a company down the road. And so I think it's a very wise decision to be thinking like that. But it depends on the outcome you're looking for, right? I mean, some businesses, some crypto products cannot operate without a token, right? Yeah. If you're building Solana or Ethereum, these things need a token. There's no other way about it. Yeah. But if the token is potentially supplementary or complementary to the business, I think entrepreneurs should be very careful about launching a token because there's no going back. It's on the blockchain forever. And, like you said, the Googles, the Amazons of the world, the Google, Goldman Sachs and, Robinhoods might not want to deal with that. Although I have a hunch that in the next couple of years, we will see real businesses, things that maybe look like a Robinhood or a Revolut launching tokens. I mean, I have no information, but I think that, Binance is the classic example, right? The BNB token has some utility. It's used for the BNB blockchain, but I think more than anything, it made the Binance brand very powerful. It made the early ICO investors in 2017 a lot of money. They became sort of evangelists for the product, and then they told their friends, their family about Binance. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Binance is Binance, right? I mean, Binance crushed, the very successful token launch, and it supercharged their brand, and now they're the number one exchange in the world. And so the number one exchange in the world has a token. Now there's the other top 20 exchanges, a bunch of them have tokens, a bunch of them are not successful. So I think that the playbook's still being written, but I think that companies will, companies and can leverage these tokens to supercharge their brand, create evangelism, create excitement, but it's something to be very careful about. I think that's a wise point from your founder.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Investment Club. Today, I consider it the best investment that I've ever made. We get 4 projects presented a week by their associated CEOs. Personally, I'm completely blown away by the quality of these projects, and I know of nowhere else where I would be given this same opportunity. Each week that passes, I feel more appreciative of the fact that I'm a member of this group. The vibe was just tremendous. Everybody's on the same wavelength. We just clicked. Everybody listened to each other, enjoyed their company. It was just magical. Take action. Don't take my word for it. Due diligence you need to do. And I really hope that someday down the road I see you in the club. It far exceeded expectations, without question.
Do you think that Volmex could be acquired one day? And is there a history of index companies being acquired by TradFi? I don't really know much about that.
Something that, maybe long-term after we have a lot more partnerships, we're on Bitfinex but maybe we're on some of the bigger exchanges that could, be something we're interested in. No plans right now, but it's, of course, that's always a sexy outcome for any entrepreneur. I actually had worked at one of the Stake.us was acquired by Kraken and one of the largest crypto exits to date. And so I worked there for 2 years. It was their first business employee, second hire. That was a cool thing to be a part of. I saw kind of what a successful startup looks like, from sort of early days to, close to acquisition. And so I think, there's been more and more crypto exits. There's been Stripe acquiring Bridge and Ripple acquiring Hidden Road. I think it's, M&A and crypto is really heating up. As per your question regarding exits regarding indices companies, so MSCI is one of the bigger index companies. They're a $42 billion public company or so. S&P Global is a $140 billion public company. I would need to, there's definitely been some acquisitions, I'm sure, over the years. Actually, Kraken had acquired a company called CF Benchmarks, which does some index stuff, but quite a bit different from Volmex. But I think there's definitely potential for that in the future, but it's something that we'd be working towards. Is we're not ready for that yet.
What was that like to go through the acquisition by Kraken? Like, what's some insights you can tell us of what that was? Was it difficult? Were there things that stood in the way?
So I was starting Volmex up around the same time that process was going on, but my buddies worked there, and I was kind of the key BD employee that signed a lot of the big partnerships and brought in a lot of stake for ETH, Solana, Cosmos, all these big chains that went live back then. And so, a really interesting insight from that experience was just that, in new industries like crypto, staking crypto, the playbook is really being written like as you're kind of doing it. Now things like indices and licensing, there's obviously some precedent related to that, and things that you can, borrow from or, get inspired by, the traditional finance industry and whatnot. But I think that, the staked business was largely a new business. It was staking on chain, earning yields. A lot of times it's just purely on chain. A lot of these customers are just, whales. You might have a contract with them. You might, they might just be, bound by the crypto economic rules of the system, right? They might just be staking $50 million of Solana or, $100 million of ETH. And so, Staked was a fast company, it was a small company. I think, there was maybe, for a long time, like just 10 people. And so, it was acquired for somewhere in 9 figures. It depends on how you look at it, but definitely well into the 9 figures. And so it's a cool thing to be part of. The founders did really well, the early team did really well. And so I'll always, carry that with me. I think it was a great thing to be a part of. Shout out to, Jonathan and Tim.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.